Friends and family, we're here to mourn today the passing and celebrate the life of Murray Schultz, Moshe ben Avram. Murray is survived by his wife Julie, son Joey, granddaughters, his brothers Bill, Richard, his aunt and uncle Sherry and Howard Birnbaum came all the way from New Jersey to pay their respects. All the family that he loved and they loved him, and he'll be greatly and sorely missed. We're going to begin today's service with reciting several chapters of Psalms. I'll recite first in Hebrew, then in English. Psalm 1, Asher Lehal Batzas Hashem, that Chatoim Liamad Meshules, and Yashak Mesidas, and Nechafzei, Osidas Yagim, and Malayla, Voyake Shasal Pagimoyim, Asher Piri, Temi, Tebaleo, Yibel, Bachol, Shayas Yatsliach, Lekin, Shem Kim Kametsa Shetet Ruach, Akain Yukum Rashayim, Amishbal, Chatoim, and that's Sadikim, Kidei Avin, that Sadikim, that Rashayim, Tevain. Happy is the one who has not followed in the counsel of the wicked, nor stood in the path of sinners, nor sat in the company of the scornful. Rather, the one's delights is in the Torah of the Lord, meditating in God's Torah day and night. And we be like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruits in season, whose leaf will not wither, and whatever the one does prospers. Not so the wicked, who are like chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked shall not survive judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord loves the ways of the righteous, but the ways of the wicked is doomed. Psalm 15. Mizmor leDavid Adonai miyagba alecha miyishmar kachecha hilatamu feil tzedek v'dever emes u'levavei l'rogal l'sheina li'asa l'rei rav v'cherpel l'nasa l'krevei nivza beinam nimas v'siri avnei yichabei nishbar l'rav l'yomir kas b'lenasa m'neshech v'sheichar anoki l'lachach v'yisei l'layim l'eilam. A song of David, Lord, who may sojourn in your tent, who may dwell on your holy mountain, one who walks in purity, does what is righteous, and speaks the truth from the heart, who has no slander on the tongue, nor has done harm to a fellow, nor cast disgrace towards a neighbor, in whose eyes a contemptible person is repulsive, but who honors those who are in the awe of the Lord, who swears truthfully even to personal hurt and never retracts, who does not lend money and interest nor take a bribe against the innocent. One who does these things shall never falter. Psalm 23. Mizmor leDavid Adonai Eliachsa ben Azeshi Arbitzein Yam Emidochis Na'aleini Nafshi Yeshevi Yancheni V'Magavet Tzedek L'man Shemai Gam Ki Yela Begitz Almavis L'Yiraki Ato Yimadi Shivtcha Mashantachemi Nachamoni Tarech L'Fanei Shulchan Neged Seirai L'Shanta Vashem Reishi Keseri Vaya Achtoi V'Chesri L'Funi Kol Yimei Chayoi V'Shavti V'Sadinoi L'Erech Yamim. A song of David, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. God causes me to lie down in lush pastures. God leads me beside tranquil waters. God restores my soul and guides me in the righteous path for God's name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your scepter and staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in full view of my adversaries. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life. I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. Murray today is returning to the area where he grew up in. Murray was born on Long Island in 1958. His parents, Doris and William, Avram and Devorah. They later moved to Chicago, not too far from right here. And after as he grew up, spending a couple of years in college, he came back to help his dad in business, first in Berwyn and Oak Park. Murray always pursued his dreams. After he married Julie, he had a desire to move to California and get into the movie business. So they picked themselves up and they moved to California, where he started off working in the mailroom, and within a year was the vice president of the company, ultimately starting his own. When Julie's sister got sick, was diagnosed with leukemia, they decided it was time to move back to Chicago, and that's what they did, and that's where they remained in the area. Murray continued being involved in the show industry, first at the Chicago Center of Performing Arts, where he took Joey. He showed him all about managing a business. He showed him the mixing room. And together with his love of music, got Joey started in that industry. We'll hear from those who want to say a few words about Joey, about Murray. Joey.
Testing 1 2 3. All right. Thank you all for coming out. I didn't write anything or really prepare anything. I'm just going to speak from my heart. So everybody here Sherry, Howard, Marty, Lynn, Julie, Jeanette, thank you guys. Steve, thanks for being here. And my dad loved you all very much. And a lot of good memories with Murray, a lot of bad jokes, inappropriate jokes, a lot of cheesy humor, jokes I'll continue to tell. It's pretty surreal speaking, I guess, right? Or like what am I doing right now? But anyways, I love my dad fiercely, and he was a great grandfather to my girls too. Everything I have today I owe to my dad and my family, and not a day is gonna go by that I don't miss him or think about him. And I'm wearing his dog tags and his dad's dog tags and his watch, and he left me with probably hundreds of t-shirts and stuff too, so thanks, Dad. I don't know, but he was a really good guy. Wouldn't trade him for any other dad. I know I'll see him soon, or whatever happens, but he's gonna be with us every day. And yeah, thank you, Dad. Thank you for everything. And you made the world a better place. And even though your body is done, you're still going to continue to inspire and invoke greatness through myself, through Julie, through our family, through my endeavors. You're with me every day that I go to the school and teach and inspire the next generation. So thank you. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, that's it.
Mother, and it was a Friday night, and then the tradition is after we do Kabbalah Shabbat, the congregation welcomes the mourner. You had 250 people get up and welcome Murray into the shul, welcome into coming for Shabbos. Sat down next to me, we davened. The next day, he was walking through the streets of Teaneck, and somebody said, "You're the guest of the Birnbaums. You shouldn't be here. You should be over there." And he was amazed that somebody remembered him and took him to our house. The impression it made on him was that, look at this community They didn't know who he was, yet they said, "You're a Jew, you're part of our community, we're going to take care of you." And they all stood, and they made sure that he knew that this congregation wanted to comfort him. They wanted to soothe, to ease his pain, and to bring him back to our house so we could have lunch. That was the first time, the first little period of time I want to talk about. The second period of time is Sarah and I were out here a couple of months ago, and we put on tefillin on Moshe ben Abraham. By putting on the tefillin, we saw a couple of things. One, he was so excited to do a mitzvah, to put something on maybe he hadn't done in a while, but he did it with relish. He did it with excitement. He did it with alacrity. I want to put on the tefillin, which he did, so that he takes the Shemayim with him, that he takes with him, that mitzvah will always be with him. We spoke about many, many things, and what comes out is his aspiration to wanting to be more orthodox, and with the excitement in which he wanted to undertake it. So this tells you something about him. It tells you that maybe I didn't know about it, but now I know about it, and I want to act on it right now. And that's Murray. That's Murray. That's what Moshe ben Abraham is and was. Will always remember that type of alacrity. You want something, I'm going to do it now. And that's a tremendous, tremendous level to be on. He's not a procrastinator. You want something, you do it. You want to do the mitzvah, you do it now. And that's exactly what he did. He did it now. So we were very, very impressed with that type of thought. I would like to ask Mechila, I want to ask forgiveness if I or my wife have done anything to offend you, that you should please forgive us for that, that you should be an advocate for us for the upcoming Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that you should be an advocate for the good for us, for parnasa, for health, and that we should go from coil to coil and accept our learning on your behalf. Thank you.
I was the only one there of this group when you were born. I was a little girl, I was in camp. And my sister, she had been married, they married in March. This was July or August, and she sent me a postcard. And she said, "I'm going to have a baby." And I was so little, I had to process, what is she getting, a doll? I mean, I didn't know. And then, of course, we saw that Murray was born, and you were such a beautiful child. You always had sparkle and smiles and happiness. And I watched you grow up. At one point, your parents moved to Philadelphia, and we loved, I think maybe you were 2 at the time, I'm not sure, maybe even younger, and everybody loved to ask you where you lived, because you would always say, "I live in Philadelphia, Pencil." And it was so cute that we just kept asking you. And then the years passed, and your brothers came along, and you were back in Westbury, and the 3 of you used to gang up on me. The 3 little boys used to gang up on me, and you were convinced my name was Shari Lewis, because it was Sherry, so I had to be Shari Lewis, who was from television. I couldn't convince you otherwise. And then the years just went by, Mur. Of course, everybody had funny names for each other, so you became Morris Pansky. I still call you Morris Pansky to this day. I remember even when I was a younger, well, not so young, single, with a share of friends in the Hamptons, how you drove all the way from Chicago, picked your brother up, Richard, in New York, and you came to a big party we threw. That was the kind of guy you were. You were just out for fun. Of course, I remember your wedding, July 4th weekend, and when your unbelievable son was born, who really is a tremendous representative of your legacy of kindness and goodness and sincerity, who cared for you so amazingly all these months with such devotion. Everyone loved you. Everyone knows you were loved by everyone that met you. And you know what? They say when someone is so well loved like that, it's because God loves them. You see God's love when you see people love you that way. Now you're on a new journey, Mer. Now you're on the journey of your soul, and I think you're going to love it. You're going to be able to immerse yourself in the things you always wanted in this lifetime, a new dimension, a new opportunity. We're going to miss you, but you're still going to be here with us. We know that. And of course, you have a legacy that's going to follow you. So, like my husband said, I want to ask for Mechila forgiveness for anything any of us might have done that we could have done better. And we ask that you be a representative in heaven on behalf of our whole family before God, who you will have a very strong connection with now.
My name is Marty. Lynn and my wife Lynn, we're friends with Murray's parents. Our closest friends, and Murray and Alan and Doris's extended family, including Sherry and all the other relatives. Really, every high holiday, every time there was an event when the family came in, we got together, and was very close with Murray, with Billy, with Richard, and then with Joey, with Julie. I have a lot of stories about Murray, but probably not appropriate to tell here. He was kind of like his father, who might go down as the most difficult person to be have a trick pulled on you. But we love Murray. We think about him all the time. We thought about him through his illness. We're going to really miss him. Lynn pointed out a story that kind of typified what Murray was. Julie and Murray and Joy and Lynn and myself went to a restaurant for dinner out by them in Elk Grove Village. And when the check came, Murray pretended to go for his wallet, to pay for it. And he couldn't find it. His wallet was not there. Joey, at what age, Lynn? 5, 6, had picked his pocket. Murray was so proud of him that he had done that. And he kept talking about it. It was like, well, he'll be in prison one day. You could be proud of him even more. But their family, our remembrance of Murray and everybody else was the best times of our life. We just had so many good times together, all of us, and we're going to miss that. But like Joey said, he'll be there in our hearts and our minds, and we wish him safe travels.
There's a Hasidic saying, "Medaf leben mit der Zeit." We live with the times. That the events that take place during the week have a connection with the events of the week, connection with the Torah portion of the week. In this week's Torah portion, we read the story of Pinchas, a religious zealot, and because of his act, he was awarded the honor of becoming a Kohen, a member of the priestly family who served in the temple. The ethics of our fathers will teaches us what was the personality of Aaron, what are the traits of the priestly family, is Ohev Shalom, Verodev Shalom, someone who loved peace and pursued peace. And as we heard today, just before, we pay our respects for Murray, someone who he treat a stranger just like his brother. He would sacrifice anything to help anyone. Or as Joey said, he was just a selfless mensch. During these weeks on the Jewish calendar, we mark the morning of the destruction of the temples and many other calamities that befell the Jewish people throughout our history. The story is told that Napoleon once happened upon a synagogue on Tisha B'Av, the saddest day on the Jewish calendar, and he saw people, everyone sitting on the floor and crying, mourning, weeping, reading lamentations. And he asked, what's going on? He says, well, they're mourning the destruction of the temple. He says, so how long ago was it destroyed? And they tell him 2,000 years ago. He says, people that mourn a temple that was destroyed 2,000 years ago will be rewarded with its rebuilding. One of the basic beliefs in Judaism is the coming of Mashiach, the rebuilding of the temple, and the resurrection of the dead. That all those who are buried throughout our history will once again come to life. So it's no coincidence that this message is being portrayed here today. During this time, we're gathered here to pay our respects to Murray. Gather here with the community members who didn't know Murray, but gather here as part of one family to pay the ultimate respects to a fellow Jew. Murray will be greatly missed. He won't be here physically, but spiritually, his soul lives on. His acts of kindness live on. His good deeds live on. And the way we keep him alive is by continuing his legacy, his behavior, his types of love and concern, and helping others and caring for others. That will keep him alive in our hearts. May it be a good to better. May it be beseech on high for the well-being of his family and all of Klal Yisrael, all of Israel. We'll conclude with the Kel Malay, with the memorial prayer, and then we'll do the actual covering of the grave. El Malay Rachamim Meshechein Mamroimim Ham Seimenochen Achein Al Kafi Ashkina B'Malas Kadeshim Tahirim Kazei Araki Amazinim Es Nishmas Moshe Ben Avram Shalach Lo'elam Moi Babo Shanach L'Mismaleli Malas Koras Nishmasai Began Eden Teimenu Chasai Lochein Balarachim Yisrei B'Seis Knafo Lo'elamim V'Yitzir B'Sarachayim Es Nishmasai Alino Yunachalasai V'Yiruach B'Shalem Al Meshkavai V'Noimara Amen. God, full of compassion, dwells on high, grant proper repose on the sheltering wings of your presence, and the lofty levels of the holy and pure who shine on the brightness of the firmament, unto the soul of Moshe ben Avram, Murray, who has gone to his world, and for his memory we pray. May his repose be in paradise. May the Master of the compassion bring him under the cover of God's wings, and bind his soul in the bond of life. May the Lord be his heritage, and may he repose on his resting place in peace, and let us respond. Amen. We'll begin with a covering. It's a tradition, being that it's not something we enjoy, but it's yet a mitzvah. It's a great mitzvah to bury those who pass. We do it first with a shovel in the backhand, then we shovel, but we also don't pass the shovel one to the other. So if you want to shovel it several times, there's no limit to what you can do, but pass on. Just put the shovel back down and let someone else pick it up. As we're finishing the burial, whatever we can by hand, recite the following passages. Atzur Tamim Pa'ala Kechol Derach HaMishpah El Amunah Ve'inavel Tzalef Yasharshu. Atzur Tamim Mechol Pa'al Me'yermel Matifol Hashale Ve'matav Amal Memis Mechaya Meir Shol Ve'yal. Atzur Tamim Mechol Mais Me'yermel Matasa Emer Ve'esech Hasachinam Mechol Matasa Usos Anekin Keseach Shiva V'asei. Tzadik Bechol Derach Atzur Tamim Merachapayim Olirachamim Chamolna V'chusna V'salbonim Gelechol Naslichas V'arachamim. Tzadik Ata Adinul Hamas Olachis Shviat Chavikni Kol Ruchis Chalilcha Zechrinein Limchis, you know, Nachabachim Alim Kuchais, Kilhad and Racham Vaslichis. Adam and Shani Ye, other Shanam Yikim, my Yison like Hoya, Borotain Amas Mamis Machaya, Borohu, Kiamas Dina, Mashet Hakabaini, Mashalam, Hashman Dini Hakal, Shmay de Tenu. You don't want to make Sadik Mishpataka, Tits up with the Brachas, this goes to Bishoptacha, being Haracham in the Shoptacha, Sadakata, and the Navy Yashim Mishpatacha. Dion Amas. Shevet Tzedek v'emes Baruch Dayan ha'emes Shekom Mishpat Tzedek v'emes Nebesh Kol Chai b'yodecha Tzedek Moli Yamincha v'yodecha Nachem al Pleitis Tzedek Yodecha V'semer L'malach Chari v'yodecha Del Eitz Avrav Alila Shebi Einecha B'kuchas HaKodachim B'nei Adam Lo Sedish K'drach V'chlim Alala L'hagrik Yasha Adonai Tzuri V'li Avlasavai Adonai Nosan Adonai Lokach Yishem Adonai Maveirach V'urachim Mechaparavim V'li Yashkis V'hir V'lashav Apoy V'li Yor Kol Chamasei. The rock perfect is God's work. Follow God's paths of just. God of faith without iniquity, righteous and fears God. The rock perfect in every work. Who can tell God what to do? God rules below and above, causes death and restores life, lowers down to the grave and raises up. The rock perfect in all action. Who can tell God how to act? God whose word generates deed. Do undeserved kindness with us in the merit of Yitzchak, who was bound like a lamb, hearken and act. Righteous one in all ways, the rock who is perfect, slow in anger and full of compassion. Please have mercy and spare parents and children, for yours, Master, and forgiveness and compassion. Righteous are you, Lord, to cause death and restore life, for in your hand is the sake of keeping all spirits. Far be it from you to erase our memory. May your eyes compassionately take cognizance of us, for yours, Master, is compassion and forgiveness. For a person, whether a year old or whether living 1,000 years, of what profit is it? As if having never been shall the person be. Blessed is the true judge who engenders death and revives. Blessed is God, for God's judgment is true. God scans everything with God's eyes and encompasses the person according to the account of the just sentence, and all must give God's name acknowledgement. We know, Lord, that your judgment is righteous. You are righteous when you speak, and pure when you judge. There's no complaining about the manner of your judgment. Righteous are you, Lord, and your judgments are fear. True judge, judge of righteousness and truth. Blessed is the true judge, for all of God's judgments and righteousness are true. The soul of all living is in your hands. Righteousness fills your right hand and your power. Have mercy on the remnant of the sheep of your hand, and say to the angel of death, hold back your hand. Great in counsel and abundant in deed, your eyes are open upon all the ways of your children of humankind, to give to each one according to their ways and according to the fruit of their deeds. To declare that the Lord is just, my rock, in whom there is no wrong. The Lord is given and the Lord is taken. Blessed is the name of the Lord. And God, the merciful one, will forgive iniquity and not destroy, frequently withdrawing anger, not arousing the entirety of God's rage. We conclude with a psalm followed by Kaddish. Nichtam l'David Shemreni Yekasi Sibach Amart Adonai Yota Tivasi Balalecha Al-Gisham Asher Barasema Vadirik Havzibam Yirvat Smei Samachar Mahara Baas in this game Yidam Asa Shmei Samas Vasai Animas Chalki V'chesi Yatem Kirali Chavolim Nafali Banimim Amnach L'Shafar Allai Avorach Adonai Yasher Yatzani Ableilis Yisuni Kuliyesai Shivisi Adonai L'Negli Sami Kimi Valamei L'Chin Samach Libi V'Yoga Kvedi Apasori Yishkan Lavet Akalisas and Ashla Shirley L'Chasi Echatski L'Shachas Tedi Eni Erechaim Sevis Samachas Panechan Imes V'Mincha Netzach. Amen. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach L'Yolam Lo Megamai Yisvaret. Come in, go in peace, repose in peace, rise to the ultimate destiny at the end of the day. To the mourners we say, the Governor Betsy console you among the corners of Zion and Jerusalem. The Lama was the Netzach, Mochad, the Tima Mekhamah, Honim, Pepper, Sama Yosef, Nankaloretz, Yanadibir, may death be swallowed up forever. May the Lord God wipe away tears from every face, renew the mocking of God's people throughout the world, for the Lord has spoken.
includes the service and return to your cars.
Some people need a lift.
So Joey's bringing the car up here.
Oh.